100k by 30, a million by 65. All of these are commonly heard of goals in the financial independence communities in Singapore and beyond. But how hard is it really to hit a 100k by 30? What if I told you you don't actually need to scrimp and save every single penny that you might make? You don't need to live a lifestyle of extreme thrift, eating economy rice every day. You also don't need to be working in high roller jobs like those in finance or tech. What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be answering the question of how hard is it really to hit a 100k in net worth by 30. Now before I start, if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit the like button below and subscribe to this channel so you do not miss any future uploads. With that out of the way, let's jump right into today's video. So the topic of today is going to be how hard it actually is to hit $100,000 in net worth or savings by the age of 30, and what you actually need to do to get there, especially if you are in a relatively average job. Hopefully by the end of this video, you should be more encouraged that doing this is actually possible without having to sacrifice a whole lot. Pulling up our net worth planner once again, we can fill in several assumptions on the inputs tab over here. We have assumed the age of entry into workforce or the current age of our participants, in this case, into this calculator. We've chosen the age of 24 because that's around the time that most guys, which could be considered the late bloomers in a Singapore cohort, enter the workforce. We're also going to assume that they start off with no savings at all, which is unlikely considering that Asia tends to have pretty good savings rates compared to other countries in the world. We also are going to assume that maybe he's going to be taking home $3,000 a month. So this is after CPF, of course, and this is actually going to be on the lower side, considering that the median fresh graduate salary as of 2023 February is over $4,000. But nonetheless, let's just go with this. We're also going to assume a yearly increment of 4%. This is pretty much in line with what we have seen in the latest surveys for 2025, and also an increment on promotion of around 20%, which could be seen as reasonable. People have seen larger increments of 30 or even 50% when they switch firms, but that is a topic for a whole other video. So I've actually gone ahead and plugged in several other assumptions over here. Let's say this guy only invests in relatively low risk instruments, delivering the 4% per annum return as espoused by the 4% rule. So let's have a look at when this guy can reach the magical figure of 100k. Now jumping over to the model tab, you can see that this guy actually manages to hit that figure by the age of 29 if he were to save, what was it again, 35% of his income per year. Now 35% once again is somewhere around $1,000 a month when he first starts out. It gradually increases assuming he keeps lifestyle inflation in check. He does get a promotion after the second year of work and the 5th year of work, but building those two into the model is still only taking home slightly under $5,000 by the age of 29. So that sounds pretty encouraging indeed, right? Bear in mind that means that he's able to spend close to $2,000 per month. If you were to live with parents, that is quite a bit of money to be able to spend on discretionary spending. I think that is largely sufficient for a single individual, unless you're eating omakase every day or something like that. Now, if you're going to tell me that, hey, you know, that is still a bit of a low spending amount, let's say we drop this savings rate to something like 25%. Fine, well, the guy still actually comes quite close to the $100,000 mark and crosses that mark just a year later. Notice that in this case, he's spending maybe closer to 2.5k a month. So if you want to do this, of course, choosing to live in your family home is going to get you there that much faster because your savings rate is going to be that much higher. Nonetheless, it is not impossible to get by on, say, renting a room in an HDB and then being a bit more thrifty, but you don't really have to only limit yourself to spending like $10 a day or something like that. Additionally, you also don't need to take on outsized risk such as going all in into crypto, because 4% per annum is largely available nowadays on things like US treasuries, which are considered to be risk-free in USD terms, or blending things like large cap dividend stocks like DBS, UOB, OCBC with a high yield savings account. If you want to get your hands on this model and find out how this might apply to your own circumstance, maybe you are slightly older and there's a bit less runway to hit your target, then you can actually get this net worth planner down in the description below, especially if you're serious about following a plan and hitting all your net worth targets for 2025 and beyond. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Let us know in the comments down below. All in all, I hope you found this video informative and interesting. If you did, do consider leaving a like and subscribing to this channel so you do not miss any future uploads. With all that being said, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.